Hey everyone, Nifty Nomi here. I'm a Canadian educator making business data make sense, and I am excited to be finalizing my Canadian Payroll Basics course. It's a continuation of the YouTube video linked below titled Canadian Payroll Basics, and the course continues on to discuss and review how payroll entries affect the general ledger accounts in the bookkeeping and the different scenarios and methods for adding that payroll data into the bookkeeping file. Now, part of that discussion is cash methods versus accrual methods, and I take a quick 5 minutes to visually illustrate what cash accounting looks like versus accrual accounting. I figured that this visual summary of cash versus accrual would make a good YouTube video, plus be a great sneak peek on my Canadian Payroll Basics course. I have a link below to either the waitlist, in which you'll receive a 50% off coupon, or to the actual course itself once I have it published. Now let's take a look at cash versus accrual. There are two main ways to approach bookkeeping: cash accounting and accrual accounting. Here's a review of the differences between these two. Cash accounting records the date of a transaction the day it comes out of the bank. Accrual accounting records the date of a transaction the day the expense was incurred, aka the bill date, not the paid date. I like to use the example of a business that has 3 different utility bills, one for November, December, and January. Let's take a look at what that looks like with this simplified version. Here what I have is a very, very simplified profit and loss, just for illustrative purposes. It's a monthly profit and loss report. We've got November, December, January, February, March. And let's just say consistent sales and expenses just for this example right now. And let's say, like I said, there's 3 utility bills. So one on November 2024, one on December 2024, and one in January 2025. And they're all utility bills. And they're all 500, and all 3 were paid March 1st, 2025. So let's just take this and copy it over here. Now, with accrual accounting, the expense is going to be dated not the date it was paid, but the bill date. So in this case, we would have the 500 for November here, the 500 for December here, and the 500 for January right here. In fact, you put the bills in even if they're not paid, right? So let's just extend this further down all the way until March. And let's copy these. And so these would be unpaid, but we would still add them to the bookkeeping. As you can see, this is accurate, representative, and informative. The expenses are claimed in the months that they are incurred, and the profit and loss report is much better to rely on for making informed analysis and business decisions. Now, if somebody was using the cash accounting approach, this is what it would look like. They would put in the entry for that payment right here of $1,500, and they would put that all in March, the date it was paid, and they wouldn't even have the February bill in because it's unpaid, and these wouldn't have even gone in. As you can see, okay, the expenses are captured, but they're not entered in a way that is representative or informative. These expenses that would reduce the taxable profit in this 2024 year, they're actually going to be missed, but they are going to be carried forward into next year. The profit and loss loses its power to inform business decisions because it has lost its accuracy. But the expenses are in eventually. So it's the cheaper, less helpful, but at least compliant way to have bookkeeping done. I call cash accounting quick and dirty, but gets the job done. If compliance is the bar, fine. But thriving businesses go beyond compliance. Quality bookkeeping costs more and takes more involvement, but it pays more in the long run. In business, reliable data is priceless. Now that we have discussed what cash versus accrual is, we can discuss various scenarios and methods of entering the payroll transactions into the bookkeeping. First, we will look at the scenario of a bookkeeping file with the payroll transactions entered on the cash method, quick and dirty, where the payroll is being done manually and tracked elsewhere. And then we will discuss how, with just a very few quick and thoughtful tweaks, the misdated expenses can be claimed in the correct month without changing the entire process to accrual accounting. Next, we can take a look at the scenario of a business that uses a third-party app like Ceridian or ADP, and what a quick and less detailed way is of adding in those transactions, with or without the bookkeeper having access to the actual payroll application. We'll move on to cover what the transactions look like when the payroll is being done natively, that is, within the bookkeeping software's own payroll module offering. And I'll follow this with how to add in the payroll transactions with that same level of detail on the financials when the payroll is being done by a third-party app such as WagePoint or Payment Evolution or ADP. These third-party apps do offer both integration into some bookkeeping softwares by way of an automated journal entry, and also provide the details via a journal entry report that can be added manually. These do not integrate the individual paycheck details, just a summary of the different GL accounts that are affected for each pay run. This allows the financials to have much better detail without the need to put in each paycheck individually. But first, let's take a look at that first scenario of a bookkeeping file with the payroll transactions entered on the cash method, quick and dirty, where the payroll is being done manually and tracked elsewhere. This is the typical scenario of what I call after-the-fact bookkeeping just for compliance. I have seen some businesses not stay on top of their bookkeeping, feeling that it's just data entry for the government. They often want a bookkeeper to shove in the entries without having all of the information to just get it in. I don't want to be too critical of this, as sometimes you just need to get caught up and you have deadlines to meet. But I do need to emphasize, once caught up, there are much better ways to manage bookkeeping that can help the business thrive. And also, there are still easy ways to mitigate the cash-style payroll entries so that they do have a more accrual representation on the financials, making them just quick. Let's start with taking a look at just basic, quick and dirty cash entries and their effects.